after they've had some reports or some interaction with the registry and KPMG. Tomorrow, for sure, has been confirmed. Half day. We'll know what half day means, whether it will starts and end at 12 or 2. We will know for sure. But we will just quickly, with our legal team here, go through some of the issues that have played out in court. Even to the extent sometimes that some rules are actually spelled out about ethics, about people who possibly could be walked out or imprisoned and all that, and slates being wiped clean. It's not been too smooth. It's been quite confrontational today, and the lawyers will speak with them and find out. Gary is not available now. He's left that, but maybe might join us possibly before we leave. We've got some 20-25 minutes to see if we can wrap up with that one. But Lawyer Wayo is here, speaks for the NDC, and then Lawyer Dr. Boris Zampa also here with us. Gentlemen, we are back from court.
Now you can see my frustration in the morning. I'm vindicated that you realize that the judges are now out of frustration, rejection. They have now come out strongly. Now they are giving directions to how they want this issue of and the controversy of the pink sheets, whether filing, serving, to be resolved. And I think it is kudos to them. They've shown the way that they are capable, and they will make sure that that matter is resolved as soon as the report for KPMG comes, and also they also show clearly that they are on top of issues. This time, they have also shown that they will not take, excuse me to use my word, any misconduct from counsel, and by so doing, they've sent a strong signal. I have told you several times that the judges over there have so much power. They are like God on earth, and they feel so pity for the lawyers and every party, including everybody who is watching them. They are so powerful. So they out of the kind of exchanges, the tempers were so high. The lawyers nearly got loss of control.
So we're getting some live feed from the Supreme Court. That's the outside. The parties are filing out the usual exchanges of pleasantries and last minute pep talks before they all leave the scene. Okay, so we continue to enjoy that, Doc.
So you can see that the presiding judge Atuba quite clearly made a statement to the effect that, listen to me, these kind of exchanges and indecent languages and misconduct by the council, Philip Addison and the other council, should stop, because they have what it takes to discipline them. Either cite them for contempt, imprison them, or sack them from the courtroom, red card, legal red card, sack them from the courtroom, or refer them to the disciplinary committee to be sanctioned. And clearly, it's a signal to not only the bar, but also to all and sundry, including those who are parties to the suit and those who are not parties to the suit, that any contemptuous action should not be countenanced by the Supreme Court judges. Because you see, if they fail to do so, the authority will be undermined. And we should not be seen to have a weak bench. The bench has one set that is forgiving the parties, is forgiving the council, and henceforth he will not tolerate any misconduct from any party. And clearly also you can see that today proceedings have been very difficult for the bench and the bar, and all of us have been frustrated because of this issue, controversy surrounding the filing and counting of the pink sheets, and later part it clearly shows how frustrated we were all, to the extent that some of the judges said that, look, we are being watched internationally, and it seems as if we are not taking actually notice of that we are being watched, and we should not misconduct ourselves. So clearly, I believe that the Supreme Court is showing that they are very dangerous, and if you play with them, they will deal with you. And quite clearly, I can tell you from this warning, final warning, any lawyer, and let me be clear with you. Out of the leading councils, we have Philip Addison. When I'm marking, when it comes to fair play and conduct, 10 over 10, I'll give him 3.5. He has failed woefully when it comes to holding himself. He has lost control. He has been so much irritated. He has allowed his emotions. He has not carried himself very well. 3 over 3.5. Now let's come to Tolita. I'll give him 4 over 10. Because you two at times, when you remember when he threw that document, that's a bit. So then Tattoo also 3.5. Because at times Tattoo also have a way of misconducting, and then the shut up incident when it's the only lawyer that I have somehow been criticizing, but when it comes to issue of fair play, Kwashi Adam, I'll give Kwashi Adam almost 9 over 10 because the man has shown that he's so composed.
And today he gave himself marks.
Yes, very composed, very humble. He's the most senior. He's very senior. The man is senior, age-wise, and in practice-wise, and he has conducted himself very well. He has not. I've never seen him insulting, using vile language, or misconducting himself. Very calm. Very, very humble. He retracts when he has to retract. He apologizes when he has to apologize. Even when he's objecting and he doesn't get it, the way he will smile and sit down. My God, we must learn from him. He is the only lawyer who is setting good example. The remaining 2 lawyers, they are not setting good example at all.
They're fighting on themselves.
Yes, because they are fighting and then over pettiness. At times, the issues that they are fighting are not the issue for determination. You see Philip Addison fighting. When he's being advised by the bench, he will not apologize.
Sometimes
it's very difficult.
Take on the bench.
Yes, take on the bench, and that's what is not good. Then you have Tolita also want to show proof that he's also there. Then Chachika also has his own way of provoking. All those people, hardly will you see Kwashi Adam provoking. Even if he provoke, is so lovely. He does it in a nice way. So, really, the judges have to be hard on us. Not only the lawyers, but also to even the commentators, and then those who interpret, and everybody. That this time, any actions, omissions, commissions from anybody, from any contest that is contemptuous, they must deal with that person, because the stakes are so high, and we should not be seen to be undermining the authority of the courts.
At least they made that quite clear today, isn't it?
Definitely.
At a point in time, I thought that Justice Atugua was beginning to lay foundation to attack.
Definitely, but you see, he was trying to say that.
Addison quickly said he had withdrawn.
Yes, I like this Atugua because he has a way of soaking on pressure, because by the conduct of Philip Addison, if he's not cold-headed, he would have do something that he would later maybe have regretted, because Addison was so assertive. He would not accept his mistake, and he was it's like I will say what I want to say, and he have to remind Addison that, look, listen, Addison, you can't put up such a behavior. You don't say that when others misconduct themselves, the bench seems not to say anything, but when it comes to me misconducting, then everybody seems to. But at the end of the day, he has a way of telling that, look, listen to me, we are trying to be fair, let the bygone be bygone, we are now starting afresh. Everybody must learn to comport himself, because all eyes are watching. And then, as rightly said, I think that we must start on a new slate, and everybody should ensure that the right thing is done. Let's begin to show that the bar is civil. Let's show that the bar is polite. Let's show that the bar has ethics. Let's show that the bar has a lot of humility. Let's show that the bar is capable. And see, my most worrying is that Addison should know that it's a privilege. Among thousands and thousands of lawyers in Ghana and leading the MPP, you are so privileged to be nominated and appointed to lead. The international committee is watching. The same thing also applies to Tattoo and Tonilita. The president of the Republic of Ghana, out of the thousands of lawyers, saw it wise to nominate you. to lead him, to defend him. Then Chachu, thousands of supporters, millions of supporters of NDC, you are leading. You see, it is only the EC who doesn't have supporters. The EC doesn't have supporters, but the EC is the one who is now have shown the way. He has shown that he is a good lawyer. He is well composed, and I've tend to like him. Initially, I didn't like. He was too soft, and now he has upped up his game. But when it comes to the ethics, he is on top.
So a lot of issues to do with ethics being brought in, and missiles being thrown at his council today. Gary has just joined us. I don't know if you've been following the discussion while you're away, but Addison had issues really today with the bench. I don't know what you make of it.
Andre, good evening again to your viewers. I was having a meeting at Attorney General's office. So
okay.
I didn't really watch proceedings at that time.
Okay. Then let me bring in George.
If they talk about missiles, what missiles are they talking about?
Then listen to George. Okay, George. George will give you a rundown because obviously that was good for him.
Henry, I thought that that was why you were going to give him an opportunity so that he can amend the frustration.
Okay, you go.
I think that all what I'm seeing from the petitioners team is that frustration has set in. You know, in litigation.
What a way to start.
In litigation, when counsel is frustrated, and like Doc keep to say, I mean, Addison is a good cross-examiner. When a good lawyer is frustrated, sometimes he also reduces that bar.
Why would you take it in that direction? That he's frustrated, that he doesn't know what to do today. No. He didn't know what to do today, or I mean, what is it?
No, because Henry, I mean, the goalposts keep shifting. The blame game has begun. Now, counsel has gone on record in open court saying you don't trust your colleague at the bar. And this is the second time I think he's echoed this particular position. The first time when lawyer Lita was on his feet, when the document was presented to Dr. Baumia, he indicated that, I don't know if this is part of the ones we are no more relying on. And then counsel came to his defense and said, we don't even know where that document is coming from. It might be cool. Then lawyer Tony Lita felt very bad about that and registered his concern. The same thing is outplaying. If you are in a position to be accusing your colleague lawyer at the bench, at the bar, then what it simply means is that the task that you have to execute, you are not really getting your way forward. I mean, like we've maintained as respondents, the petitioners have a very huge mountain to climb. The case that they have before the court, they need to adduce enough evidence to support their case. And you get to see that basically everything happening is frustration. Hey, for instance, let's look at the number of polling stations. Let's say, is it Kofi Ningo Primary School or something thereabout? A1, number of ballots given to that particular polling station is 300. C6.
Forgive me. We've got some fee from the Supreme Court area. Let's see if we can cross over and take it. I mean, just so that we can fill in the space and from that side as well and take everything. So if I've got the signal quite clearly, I understand Lawyer Akufu is addressing.
If it did not sign, would it invalidate the results? He said he ought to sign, otherwise the results will not be valid. He was asked about the effect of a ballot which did not have the mark of the polling station stamp, because an entry had been made to that effect. And he says that, well, the polling presiding officer would have a discretion to determine whether or not that vote ought to be counted, and that it could be counted, notwithstanding the fact that it did not have the mark of the polling station. So he was made to read the portion of the pink sheet, that will be D, which makes provision for rejected ballots. And it clearly states the number of rejected ballots on account that they did not bear the mark of the polling station, which is the stamp. So today he's telling us, contrary to the law and contrary also to the clear provisions on the face of the pink sheet, that presiding officers actually could and may have allowed the counting of votes that otherwise were invalid. There was a lot of tussle since about yesterday about the pink sheets that we are seeking to confront Dr. Rejan with. The respondents have kept on making the point that they do not have some of the pink sheets. That is the full complement of the pink sheets which we seek to rely on in our case. We have maintained consistently that as far as we are concerned, we have filed all the... Indeed, KPMG has come out with an interim report indicating that not only have we filed, but we have actually oversupplied from what they have counted, and also there were still some sitting in what is designated as the strong room. We have indicated also right from day one that the proper thing to do when you do not have the documents, the full documents, is for you to indicate what you do not have so that you are supplied with them. You will recall that when this was demanded of Mr. Chikata, even by the court, he declined. That position has dogged the proceedings and have tended to delay the proceedings up until today. For the most of part of today, the court had to go into recess, came back, and we could only deal with areas that were not contentious in respect of the pink sheets.
So a lot of what Gloria, let's say lawyer Gloria Kufu is talking about, we watched, we saw that play out in court. We want interpretations to that one. That's why we're back in the studio. So we've heard him. I'm sure we'll also find a way of picking the NDC side, but a lot of it already played out in court. We saw all that, heard them, watched the arguments. There's no need really to go over them for us. We want to understand why those things really played out. I was with you before we took off.
Thank you very much, Henry. So I was trying to establish why I think that lead counsel Addison is frustrated, and I was using Kofi Ningo as an example that if A1, number of ballot given to the particular polling station, is 300, and then C6, which is the total ballot in the box, is 300, and you found some other figure in C3, which is people who went through with that biometric, that's the from 1C that was not at the polling station, then it means that C3 is in error. So when you have a witness, like an expert witness for that matter, Dr. Afarijan, and I was trying to, in the first session, I was trying to strike a difference between ordinary witness and an expert witness. An expert witness in law is deemed to be the one who is in a profession, who knows his job. So you are bringing an architect to explain the issues. You are bringing a doctor. This is the chairman of the Electoral Commission. He understands his game. He knows what it entails. If anything at all, Lawyer Addison might know something about electoral processes. He's the one that has been briefed. I mean, the briefing from his from his team, their point of view. But if you take Dr. Afarijan, at least 80 to 95% of the electoral process he understands. So when he is explaining things like that, you once in a while want to twist your questions and get him confused. But when he's still answering questions that are more or less emphasizing, confirming basically what has already been said, then you get to see that counsel will become frustrated. I mean, if you see the number of, and that takes me to dog trying to strike some percentage when it comes to behaviors, and going back to Chachu's time and latest time. I think we heard in court today that we have cleaned the old slate. So as of today, I don't see why Dr. must go back to yesterday, because the slate was clean. Today, immediately the slate was clean. Addison, yes, immediately it was clean. Immediately it was clean today. Addison was caught in the nets. Okay. So don't let us go and use Chachu's time and then Addison is frustrated. And if he's frustrated, he goes off. He goes off tangent.
For him, it's cumulative.
No, but the slate was clean today.
But as per Supreme Court,
and immediately after cleaning the seat, Henry, the man is caught in the web again. Telling another colleague telling the witness that what you heard, I'm not the one who said it, maybe you heard it from it. It's an insinuation. And don't forget that Justice Bafubodi says that anything you tell colleague at the bar is to the bench, because the court is the bench and the bar. So whatever insinuation, whatever disrespect, that is why I think the president of the panel, Justice William Atuguba, took time to take him on, because Addison's second answer that counsel did not indicate that he was angry. He was only saying that you are intimidating the judge. It was an indirect question to the judge that, my lord, why are you not taking it personal? That was the indirect. And in law, syllogism works. Syllogism, a logical conclusion. If you say something to counsel and the judge comes in and you go around it, you are insulting the judge. So if you watch very well, Atuguba was a bit angry because Addison's answer that lawyer Kwasi didn't say he was angry, but then he was trying to say that he's intimidating the witness. Lawyer Justice William Atuguba thought that therefore he said that then Justice Atuguba rather is taking the matter personal, and that's why the judge kept on pushing him until he withdrew. So you see, so right in the court, just 30 minutes ago, the slate is clean. for everybody to behave himself, and then lawyer Addison is caught in the web. It tells you how frustrated counsel is. And like I said, if you have good lawyers to lead their clients, lawyer Chachichikata, lawyer Toneleta, and lawyer Kwashaiden, Kwashaiden, for example, he led Dr. Afarijan very well to state his case in examination in chief. So there's nothing for the petitioner to be cross-examining on. Definitely, as a lawyer who is supposed to cross-examine to make your case, you must go in there to cross-examine. But because there is nothing left for you to cover, the important thing is that you're not able to do that, and frustration sets in.
Are you saying that all he's been doing?
No, he has to try. He has to try his best.
Your point,
but in trying,
over voting, trying to prove, voting without biometric.
But you're proving to no avail. That's the difficulty.
And sign pink sheets.
Hey, nobody is stopping him from proving it. But the point is that we need to adduce evidence to substantiate our testimony. So he's trying to prove, but it's not substantiating it. It's not getting their case clear. They are saying that, for example, like Kofi Nigo, 300 is to 300. Whatever is in C3, no matter what, is a human error. Because 300 is ballots given, A1, number of ballots given to the people, and then you go to C6, which is the total ballot in the box, same 300. They tally. So you got to see that counsel is frustrated. So I think that he have to say something to senior counsel on his own volition. That the slate is clean. He must respect both the bench and the bar.
Yes, we're waiting. It looks like you have now supplied him enough ammunition. So okay,
it's quite interesting that you see, I've been telling you all the time that when this man is struggling to make a point, you look at his forehead, he keeps sweating. You see,
that's unfair. The man is not sweating. Why do you keep doing that to him?
It's mystery. How can Mr. Wayo, be saying that lead counsel is frustrated, that there's nothing left, nothing to be cross-examined on? You see, so it means all the work that the man is doing. You see, he has closed his eyes and his ears. See no evil, hear no evil. So it means that he sits here, watch the proceedings, yet he cannot even, he can't see what is happening. I'm surprised. He sits here, watch proceedings. Dr. Afarijan is admitting to facts on the face of the pin sheet. He has not seen it. He has not heard it. It is amazing. It is amazing. How can you say there's nothing left to be close? Look at the thunderbolt of questions being put to the witness. That he sits there and says, "Look, my lord, on the face of the pin sheet, there's overvoting." He said, "There's nothing left to be cross-examined." I can imagine how my brother is saying these things. That he's frustrated. I think obviously, if anybody is frustrated, you can see proceedings how it's going. But there's nothing showing that the man is frustrated. He's on his feet. He's doing his work diligently. He's being assertive. You see, when he's pushing, I told you that when you're a lawyer and you are doing your case, you must do your case diligently. When you are being pushed to the wall and you know you are right, do not be despair. Net desperandum. You do not be despair. So the man is not despair in the face of all the adversity. So when he says he's frustrated, well, I don't know what you mean by frustration. I must go and check the dictionary what frustration really means. But what the man is doing now, he's carrying at his back a lot of supporters who to destiny are in his hands. And therefore, please, if you think he's frustrated, don't worry. At the end of the day, when we have shifted the burden on you, and you must answer questions, you come and tell us whether you have answered the questions. Now, he said Dr. Afarijan is an expert witness. That's very interesting. Very, very interesting, Henry. An expert witness who is in the box is supposed to come and tell the court candidly and frankly his understanding of overvoting, and he says he's confused. Expert witness. Well, we will see. We will see how at the end of the day how it goes. Because he can't even explain what he meant overvoting. He said expert witness. He says he's confused. Henry, all you know. The point I just want to make simply is that, you see, if you look at proceedings carefully, you see, it's a certain trend which is going on in the courtroom, certain trend. And if you are not careful, you may think that maybe the lawyer is angry or the lawyer is whatever. He's not angry. The thing is, he must push his case forcefully. Because Dr. Afarijan has been very evasive. He's been very, very evasive with the answer. Even when he's shown the pink sheet and then he sees it and you ask him a question, he say, well, I have to look at the electoral register first. Well, in the country, when Dr. Afarijan made a blank statement here, press conference, that might not have been registered in the elections. Said might not have been registered, and I was even appealing that parents should appeal to their children to go and have their name deleted. Now, the question I want to ask is that were these minors deleted before we went to do the elections?
And he said yes.
They were not deleted.
He said to
you
the
wait.
best of his knowledge.
Henry, that's why he said yes. You wait. You see, he has now said yes. You wait. Tomorrow you see what happens.
Okay.
The minors were still in the register.
Well, he made certain admissions.
Yes.
Like you proceeded, that he saw people whose faces suggested were minors.
Yes.
And he made that public pronouncement and appeal. Subsequent to which some of these people were taken out.
Okay.
So for him, he thinks that they've done their work, cleaning the register.
And
so going into the elections, if some of those faces still remain, then perhaps these are faces you see and think are minors, but they might turn out to be adults.
Henry.
So as far as he's concerned, technically, he had cleaned the register before going.
Henry, the day of reckoning will come.
What would you show to him?
The day of reckoning will come.
What would you show to him?
Well, you know, in the country, when in certain parts of this country, people were voting and you can see minors in the row.
What would he have done wrong?
What could he have done wrong?
Yes. I think I was in this country when Afarijan said that biometric system cannot tell the difference between a minor and then an adult, a foreigner, and then who a national, that's a Ghanaian is. And so obviously it will depend on those of us in public to help identify those people. And he said that subsequent that some of those things have been done.
Henry, if he says some have been done, is he saying all were done before the polls?
But he did
he say all were done?
He said that
I am telling you,
subsequent to that appeal, those that people agreed with him were minors were taken out. So if some remained and we still see them as minors,
Henry,
maybe they look like minors, but they will turn out to be
I don't want
adults.
to preempt things. I'm stepping on something.
Okay.
I don't want to preempt things. I am telling you that not all the names of the minors were deleted. These minors, their faces, you can see their faces. These are minors, and they were in the register. These affected the integrity of the register itself. They were on the register.
He have taken those
on the
names
day.
out?
Why not on the day?
Legally?
Oh, Henry,
when somebody comes to register and everything, his date
those
of
people
birth,
those people that he hired them as his agent to go and register the names. When these people appeared, and obviously when you see that they are not even 18 years, and he registered them on the day of the elections.
But you know in law that you
let me finish.
You cannot stand all by yourself and say, I will not register you.
Let me finish.
You know in law that it's not possible.
Let me finish. I'm saying the integrity of the pools obviously were affected by these minors registering and subsequently voting. Henry, why the tapes are there? I said the tapes are there. People who were in the queue, those minors in the queue.
Now, how can Afarijan be blamed for that?
Oh, Henry,
if minors were seen voting, and we have party agents and all that there, nobody registers it.
Henry,
why worry Afarijan, who was not at those locations?
Dr. Afarijan, who is the EC boss, he takes the ultimate responsibility for all the infractions, all the violations. He is the boss. You don't go anywhere to lay any blame on anybody, but you have to lay it on the head of the EC. You understand? I mean, how can you go and lay any blame on any other party other than the boss, who Ghanaian said, look, we are giving you a mandate. You, as the boss of the EC, do this for us. Give us an election which is transparent, election which will be free and fair, election which is credible. You understand? A pool which at the end of the day, the way his credentials sort of support that, yes. As for me, I've done elections all over Africa. I have a long CV. You understand? That's the essence of the whole thing. And if on the face of this thing you see people voting on the election day, these are minors in the queue voting. Minors in the queue. Their names are in the register. They come and they are ticked and they go and vote. All that you can say is that, well, at the end of the day, as long as the number of people in the register was not exceeded by those who voted, there's no voting. So as long as you can have any way, by hook or crook, any other means to make sure that the papers are stashed to read the figure, there's no voting. Henry, these people were not qualified to vote in the first place. They were qualified to vote, but they voted. They voted. Now, I said at the appropriate time, we will see. We will see whether visual or audio, whatever it is, that indeed what he's saying will be contradicted. It is not true. You and I saw it. The graphic publication is there. Various networks where it was shown minors in the queue voting. How did they vote?
Sorry, you saw that?
How did they vote? I saw them, and the tapes have seen them subsequently. The tapes are there. At the appropriate time, Dr. Farijan. You see, that's what I've been saying. You see, you don't need to enter that box and come and be evasive. Don't enter that box and come and lie, because what he did was public record. Henry, public record. And these are documented. You see, these are documented. It's not about oral evidence.
Don't you think that Afarijan, prior to the elections, coming out to tell the whole world that this is what I have seen? I think I've seen some faces that look like minors. Yes. And so let's pull together to get rid of these people.
Henry, he was very definitive. Henry, he was very definitive in that publication. He said that there are minors. These are minors who are registered, and appealing to the parents to ensure.
So he has made some effort at least.
So why do you come and try to be evasive with the answer?
But he tried to clean it.
Oh, he tried to clean it.
Subsequent to that, some have been identified really as minors and have been taken out. So if the rest were not identified as per the system they put in place, there's not much he could do.
There's not much. Henry, there's not much.
Clean.
There is no.
Except for to rely on members of a general public who will be at the polling stations together collectively to agree that you are a minor, and you've got perhaps they have your, I don't know, but in law, is it possible?
Let me ask you. Let me make this statement.
Without proof legally.
Henry, is the general public in the box? The general public in the box as we are talking now?
I don't know.
The person in the box is the EC's chairman.
Yes, and you're asking him
because he is the one who was taxed. He was the one who was taxed by Ghanaians, and since 1992 been running election for the country.
Yes, and we know publicly that he told all of us about the problems inherent and how he wanted all of us to help to fix it. Subsequent to which I think some level was done. So technically he thinks that he's clean.
He has done the job.
And legally, he cannot just take names out of a register.
How did the names even get in the first place?
But we should ask ourselves.
How did the names get in the first place?
We should be asking ourselves this question.
You see, that's what I'm saying, that the so-called even electoral, what do you call it, the register, itself, its integrity is being questioned.
But that has been the issue since the start of this electoral process, for which reason they went for this particular
biometric system.
Yes. So we should be questioning ourselves as members of the general public, how even in the face of the huge investment we put together, we still could come together to allow for things like that to happen, instead of perhaps shifting it onto the man who obviously can never be at all polling stations at the same time.
Henry, I know that you have sympathies for Dr. Farijan.
Well, I'm looking at the practical situation.
Because the reason why
I have sympathies for him, I think I understand some of the things that sometimes he says.
You see, I tend to sometimes agree with you when your sympathies for Dr. Farijan. You see, it cannot be everywhere all the time. I tend to agree with you sometimes. But look at even the man's posturing before the elections. All the advice that was given to the man, he didn't take it. All the advice given to this man by all bodies, he didn't take it. He said he was a 1-all and a B-all. And now it's a day of reckoning.
So you're pushing him.
Now the day of reckoning, the day of accountability. You understand? So he must account for his stewardship.
Yes,
that is all.
Let's now look quickly at Dr. Farijan, what has happened to him in terms of some of the answers he's giving. I mean, this issue to do with register, which he wants to go and cross-check and be sure, and all those things. They have been really thorny issues. That really is what has brought the flame up to this.
Let me be fair to Dr. Farijan, but what I realized about Dr. Farijan is that he should thank his own lawyer, Kwashi Adam, who has been very, very protective. And you can clearly see that anytime you want to answer questions, he looks at the direction of the lawyer for some lead. He has not been very comfortable at all. And you can see that he's receiving a lot of punishments in terms of mixers being thrown at him. And at times you realize that he keeps quiet and then thinks through and either to answer or not to answer. And then when the tender documents, he looks at the document knowingly that this document might be true, but he says, I have to go and check. It's a strategy.
But don't you think it's a safe thing to do?
Thank you. That's why I'm saying that.
Because there have been instances where, for instance, this particular thing to do with registers, 2 sheets were handed to him purportedly from the same register, different pages, Then today it turns out when he looked at the register, the full one that had been brought for him to march, the pages as had been numbered were different. So he felt that he needed to go check.
You realize that
just so that he doesn't incriminate himself.
You realize that I'm saying that when you've given your story and you are being cross-examined, there are two things.
That's for sure. We all saw him when he started.
Honest with yourself, truthful, or decide to be invasive and defensive. And that one, when you get someone who is very good cross-examiner, he will create a lot of problems for you. And that's what I'm seeing in Afarajan. He knows a lot, but he's decided to keep a lot to himself, not to open up. That's exactly what I know. Afarajan is an authority when it comes to electoral matters. There's no question that Addison that Afarajan, given the fact that if he will not be under cross-examination. For example, if the questions that have been posed were under examination chief, he will flow. He will flow and give more lectures. But now because he's under cross-examination, I have told you that there's a conference, and they've told him, I don't know whether they want to listen to me, but I said he should not open up, and that is exactly what he's doing. And that is making things very uncomfortable for Philip Addison. So you realize that in one instance, Philip Addison said, so you are shifting the post. You will see. It's a form of like, you see, when I push it to the wall. And that one, I thought, that was when I thought, Kwasi should have said that, my lord. Yeah. Are you intimidating? But he kept quiet. But when rather they were not intimidating,
then he came.
Then he comes in. So I see Afarajan having a lot of difficulties in the days ahead, because he seems not to be himself, an independent referee who want to say it as it is. And normally you see the difficulty my two colleagues have, because this one speaks for the MPP. When even you have to acknowledge that certain things were not done right, he also sweats the same way. I mean, look at my face, clean.
Which one?
I don't sweat. I will say that it is. Which one? If you insult me, I don't care. For me, I'm not sweating.
He's wiping sweat from time to time.
I'm not here to please MPP. I gave Philip Addison 3/10. The MPP people will not be happy. 3/10 in terms of today.
Why?
I'm marked. When it comes to
what is the base for the 3/10?
Basis is that when it comes to the ethics, the conduct of council. Today the whole bench was not happy about the conduct of council. I think you were not here. They came hard at them and said that they are misconducting themselves, because they are trading insults, they are not holding themselves well. I'm saying that looking at what has transpired so far since the beginning of this trial, I started marking. I said Philip Addison has done well, but when it comes to holding himself up and then not allowing himself to be pushed and to the alleged insults and misconduct from the other side. So I'm saying that over 10, I give him 3.5. Then I went ahead to give Tonlita to 4, because I thought that he has comported himself, but with the exception of the throwing of the document, and then also he has a nice way of also throwing some measures. Then Chachu, I gave Chachu 3.5. Because Chachu too have a nice way of using certain words that normally provoke Addison, and then the Olubalo about shut up. So and then I gave Kwasi Adan 9/10. Why? Because Kwasi Adan, apart from me criticizing that he had to up his game, he has been very cool, calm. The way he will come and attack, his attack is even so romantic. He attacks so romantically that you feel that the man cannot even insult. That's how I see it. He can't even insult, and he's showing that he's more senior, he's very mature. So far, what can you say about Kwasi Adan in terms of insult? He has not insulted any of the lions. He has not, even when he's being provoked, he comes in, and at times when he stands up to raise objection, and the bench are not taking notice of it, he sits down and smiles. You see, so in fact, that's why I say I'm giving 10/10, and I'm not sweating, but you will sweat, and my mouth too will sweat, because I know you are not only.
We have to go. Let me give you 10 seconds each quickly.
Okay.
Why?
Harry, I have said it already. Today's proceedings is so indicative of how frustrated the petitioners are, have a burden to discharge, and I think it's left their head. But when you are discharging the burden like a load on your head, you lift it from your head, you put it on the floor. Now they've taken it from their head, but they are still holding it. It's not on the floor yet. So the frustration is much. And if you are before the Supreme Court of the land and you are supposed to prove but adducing evidence upon which the preponderance, the weight that must be applied onto that evidence to establish your grounding is not forthcoming. But the issue of minors, but the issue of minors is speculation, because first and foremost, they have not accused the respondent of minors. Of minors, so that we shouldn't go there. I mean, I don't see why Addison is going there.
You see, Dr. Jan is still in the box. So when I make certain statements here, you just wait and see.
But there's no accusation about minors. I don't see why it's coming up.
Just wait and see. That is all I can say. Just wait and see. Wait and see. It's still in the box. You guys don't let the box.
10 seconds.
So we will proceed. Now, on this about 3/10, after this one there, in fact, you have to up the give us
who want to give you?
This examiner is a very difficult examiner, because in the face of what we have done,
he has a script.
If you want to give us 3/10,
he has a script.
He has to establish the basis for the 3/10, but
not for,
I will leave it to him. Maybe tomorrow you bring us the script.
Yes,
but all you know, Henry, the plane is still on board.
That's good.
You understand? We have not landed. So please, without Farijan, tomorrow come and up your game better and be honest and frank, candid with the court. Else, the tomorrows that are coming, the lasers are coming. They are like thunderbolts.
We have to go.
They are thunderbolts.
We have to go, guys.
That's what I'm telling you. There will be there are things up the sleeves of the petitioners.
We have to go.
So you should be careful.
Gary Nimafumafu speaks for the NPP. He's a legal practitioner. Also, we have George Tetewayo, legal practitioner, speaks for the NDC, and Dr. Morris Ampa. He's the examiner here. He's someone of the marks, the chief examiner here. Gentlemen, we are grateful for your time. Tomorrow is a half day, so we'll be here early enough.
Let them come early. Because tomorrow by 9. Okay,
so we can get this thing over and done with. We say thank you to you on the other side for your comments, for your text messages, for your support. We hope that we've been able to bring some insight into what happened in court today. We're grateful, and on behalf of the crew here, done a wonderful job helping to bring this coverage to you. I say enjoy the rest of our programs. My name is Henry Abetmam. Thanks for watching.